But one time I had a meeting at Tom Cruise's house, and I had to pee so badly. So I stopped in the middle of his driveway, and I assumed he had cameras everywhere.
Hey guys, it's Tracy Bear with Young Hollywood, and I am sitting with one of my all-time favorite people, seriously, on earth. Seth Rogen.
I don't know if I qualify for Young Hollywood anymore. It's a little bit of a
stretch. It's not about age, it's about attitude.
I don't know if that works. I don't know. I honestly don't know if that adds up.
No,
but I
mean,
appreciate it.
We've had Betty White on here. She's still cool.
There you go.
She's still fun.
Fantastic.
But we really go back 24 hours because we were literally sitting on the flight in the same row.
Yes.
On our way over here.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was no ordinary flight.
No ordinary flight. It was a party flight.
Yeah.
I was pretty much standing the entire 3 hours, but I was gonna say you were the only one I think who actually made it normal.
I tried to
You
pretend.
And your wife were sitting there just listening to your earbuds.
I was trying to ignore the reality of the situation. It was a little much for me.
And then here we are in Austin, Texas.
We've
South
made
by
it.
Southwest, we made it.
Yes.
Luckily we made it. And I know this is not your first South by. You've been here how many times now?
I honestly don't know. Maybe 4 before this. Literally the only festival that treats comedy as though it is in any way in the same plane as other genres. And they have television here, and they treat it with, the same kind of respect and due that they treat movies, which is incredibly nice.
That's
and
true.
very rare, yeah.
I mean, so is that the one thing you would say you love the most about South by versus other festivals? I mean, it's first we're in Austin,
They
which
literally
is the
don't invite
coolest
me to
city in the
any other
world.
film festival. I don't get to go. They don't invite
Stop.
me to the other ones. No, it's not.
You're South by is the only one I'm allowed to attend.
Really, it's 100% true.
We were talking about barbecue, and you did tell me your favorite spot. So, because there's so many spots, I was like, how do you choose where to go? Are you a barbecue person, or
I do
are you more
barbecue.
Mexican?
I barbecue
Okay, you
myself.
barbecue.
La Barbecue is good, I think.
Yes.
But there's a lot of good barbecue. Come on.
I know, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So do you have staples when you come here, since you've been here a lot of times?
I go to the Salt Lick in the airport a lot. That's the most consistent staple for me, probably. And there's a good fried chicken place a block from the hotel that I am put in every
Justin's
time I
Fried
come
Chicken.
here. And so I tend to go there as well.
You started off when you were writing comedy, doing stand-up when you were a teenager, and things just worked out. You got your movie made, Superbad, you wrote that. Mm-hmm. With Evan Goldberg, who by the way is does everything with you.
He does.
And this project that you're here for.
Uh-huh.
Preacher,
Yes.
first of all, it's returning for season 2 on AMC. So,
Preacher is a comic book that we both started reading in high school.
I was gonna say, were you a fan of the comic?
We were. It came out in the mid-90s. To the late 90s it ran, and we were huge fans. It's our favorite comic book of all time, and we've been trying to make it for over 10 years, and just people who were more successful than us always had control over it, and they somehow all failed to bring it to life, and then slowly it wound up in mine and Evan's hands.
I feel that's just how the world of Seth Rogen
If
works.
you just hang in there for long enough, don't quit. Everyone else will mess up in some capacity.
I mean, it's a cool story because it's kind of you ask the question of an angel and a demon get together, they have an offspring.
Yes.
And what is that? It's a
What
soul.
does it create?
What does it create?
Exactly.
It's kind of a really weird thought.
It's a really weird thought. I mean, the show. What's fun about the show is, at its core, it's kind of like a road trip searching show. It's about people literally searching for God, who is somewhere on Earth, and they have a power that makes them able to perhaps confront him when they find him. To me, that's the thing that I think separates it from other shows on television. Pretty much every other show on television. I don't think there's any show that, when you watch it, has the visceral experience of this show.
Because it's got that supernatural / twisted vampire
there's a vampire,
mix.
but I think it's very funny. It's also very dark. There's a lot of action on the show. The actors are all incredible. And the relationship between the 3 main leads on the show is an incredibly complex and interesting dynamic that is, again, my favorite part of the comic book is like the three main characters. The world itself is very like kind of crazy and out there, but the ideas are like incredibly deep in a lot of ways. So it allows you to, if you're a theological person, you can look into it that way, and if you just like to see vampires fight people, you can look into it that way.
Let's be honest. And I think they control you with one word, right? So he just says one word.
Any word. He can say tons of words.
Oh, any word.
He can just use, yes.
So if you could control anyone with one word, what would that be? Would you want to control anyone in particular with one word, or just anyone?
Resign.
Oh, see where that was going. See where that was going.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question.
And if you could pick...
Well, that's the thing. It's inherently kind of like an insidious power, like, which is, I think, one of the things, again, that's interesting about the show. Is like,
kind of think that they can do that.
Our main hero on the show has a power that's like kind of a bad power. Like it's manipulative. It kind of is like reaching into your brain and making you do things you don't want to do. It's kind of, again, one of the conflicts in the show is like, is it even right to be using this power where you can tell people to do whatever it is that you want?
So what could people expect for season 2? Because I know you're going to be doing 13 episodes now instead of 10.
We're doing 13 episodes. The show in season 2 becomes much more like a literal search for God. They, in the first season, were kind of confined to this small town of Anvil, and now they're like really, literally on the road, driving around the country, searching for him.
I know that you're also executive producing.
Yes.
That's something you're doing a lot of now. Do you kind of like that more than
as I
acting?
age out of being physically acceptable to watch on camera, I've decided to
That is okay,
segue
firstly, I can watch you forever.
Decided to segue behind the scenes. I mean, we originally became producers just because we honestly wanted to control the marketing of our material. We got sick of making movies that we didn't have control over how they came out, so we became producers, and then we slowly realized that through being producers, we could actually bring a lot of ideas and that we've been huge fans of for a long time to life because no one else was doing it.
Right.
And so it really came out of like necessity to protect our own material, basically, and then once we did that enough, people trusted us to make other people's material, which is lovely, and I hope to continue doing it.
And then lastly, since we're in Austin, the tagline obviously is "Keep Austin Weird."
Yes.
So what has been one of the most weirdest experiences in your career? It could be something on set or with anyone. What is one of the weirdest memories that you have?
Wow. There's a few.
I was going to say that's probably like one
I've
every day
told this
with you.
story before, but one time I had a meeting at Tom Cruise's house, and he has a very long driveway. And I arrived early to the meeting, and I had to pee so badly, but I didn't want to talk to him. For Judd Apatow was also coming to the meeting, and he's good in those social situations. So I was like, I don't want to be with Tom Cruise before Judd gets there, but I had to pee. So I stopped in the middle of his driveway, and I assumed he had cameras everywhere. So I peed in a Snapple bottle in my car in Tom Cruise's driveway.
Did he know about this?
Nope, he probably doesn't. If he watches Young Hollywood, maybe he does now, but but yes.
Wow, okay, that, I don't know.
And that is not my weirdest story, but it's the one that came, the one that came to mind.
If that wasn't the weirdest story, we might have to do a whole separate interview just on weird stories with Seth Rogen.
It's a pretty good one.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you for having me.
It's so good to see you, and Preacher. Check it out, season 2.